My best friend.
Hello you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Vivian. I'm the Tired Natural here on YouTube, and today guys we're going to be talking about my anxiety journey. The orange book is back, meaning that today we're going to have a sit down on mental health. So you guys, I've had anxiety for quite some time now. I discovered that I had anxiety in 2020, and how this happened is 2019 I was living my best life. Honestly, everything was going so well. I was still in school and I was heading to my graduation. I graduated in 2019, and the first few months obviously I was in school, and then I joined attachments. Now it's during the internship stroke attachments, whatever you want to call it, that I realized that I did actually have a problem, because I was interning at this huge television station. I was once told to do a certain task, and when I was doing the certain task is when I realized that I could not be able to do it because I was shaking. And please note that if you're working in a television station, you have to be very fast and you have to be very spot on, because a little mistake, you're going to mess up the entire thing. So what had happened is they told me to fade up a certain sound. Yani sijui kama tutaelewana juu I'm also trying to protect where I was working and all of that. So when I was fading it up, I started shaking, and when I was shaking, I couldn't move the stuff that I was supposed to fade up with. And so the person who was obviously supervising me took an initiative and decided to do it himself. And so when I went home, I asked myself, hey, what was that? Because I had never experienced anything like that before. So I obviously got over it and I continued with my attachment. Also, the thing is, with internship attachments, you have to give it your all, because you're definitely thinking that these people are going to employ you, or they're going to give you a second chance to intern at the same place, or they're going to call you in future to give you a job. So I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to do my best in that internship. So the internship soon came to an end, and I went home. Obviously I wasn't called back. Not most of us were called back. And so after my internship, definitely I continued looking for a job, and I was jobless for quite some time. I went back home and then joined another job that my sister hooked me up with. Please note that my sister was in campus, but somehow she still managed to hook me up with a job. Now this was a job in hotel industry. I had never done anything in the hotel industry before that, and they took me in to be like a cashier for the hotel. Now these guys were mean. I've never worked with such mean people. They were really mean, and they used to steal. Now sometimes before I get to the place of work, I was coming from quite far. So the previous night, I would have to leave earlier than everyone else. So I would leave without doing my calculations for the previous nights. And when I come in the morning, I will still miss some calculation if they had already sold food. So they used to literally just steal from me. So every day I used to go to work, I was going to there to make a loss. And this obviously took a toll on my mental health, because one of the reasons why I was making losses is because I was not there. If I was there, then I would be able to tell exactly where the money went to. But let's say if someone hides a receipt, what used to happen is, if someone makes an order, 2 receipts are produced. 1 receipt goes with the waitress or waiter, and the other one is left at the cashiers. So the one with the waiter is the one that is going to be given to the customer to pay using it, and now the one at the cashier is the one that you'll use to determine how many Kenyan shillings you're expected to give at the end of the day. So they will steal my receipt, they stay with theirs, so when they're paid, they just keep the money, and that way I will not know. But however, once they have keyed in the details of the food, that money will still be expected from me. I don't know if you guys have gotten that gist. So that is what they used to do, and they used to steal a lot from me. So I soon left the job. Obviously I was not going to stay there for long. I can proudly say that I stayed at that job for 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks and I was out. Now that was another part that really messed with my mental health. So my boyfriend at the time hooked me up with another job, and well, this was at least better. It was in a television station, and I liked it. It's something that I had studied for. And now why this is relevant is because when I was there again, I got to discover another problem that I was having was still anxiety. So first days of the job, obviously you're still new, you're just discovering how things are working. But what happened when I was in this job, I was there on contract. So at the end of every 3 months, my contract was being renewed. So first time they renewed it easily, didn't have a problem. Second time renewal, that time is when issues started coming up, because this was between 2020 2021. that period when we were heading to lockdown and businesses are not doing that well. And so one time they said that they're not going to be able to renew the contract, and I panicked. I remember I got that text when I was at home of not renewing the contract. I had moved back with one of my relatives in Nairobi because I could no longer afford rent, obviously, because I mean the job was a bit shaky. So when I got that text, I shook. You guys, I had an entire panic attack. I was shaking, I was crying. I could not like collect my thoughts so that I can compose myself and say exactly what's going on with me. Thank God I was alone, because I would have hated for anyone to experience that and wondered what's wrong with me. And yeah, that was it. So they never renewed the contract that time, but they also never like told us to get off work. We still continued going to work, and so we started working in two shifts. The 2 shifts a month. You go for the first week, the second week, and then the other person can start fourth week, and like that. And during this period, I obviously started looking for employment elsewhere, because you could clearly tell that the place was going to shut down soon because it was not making any profits. And one time when I was called for an interview as a voiceover artist somewhere still in Nairobi, I had a panic attack during the interview. So what was happening is you're getting inside a booth. Now, this was my first problem, because inside a booth, I'm obviously going to feel claustrophobic because you've put me inside a booth. And then outside, the guys are recording whatever it is that you're saying, right? And you have a script. Obviously, I'm very, very much nervous at this point. It's a long script. I'm inside a booth. There's no air inside there. The rest of the people you're doing the interview with are outside. And you're expected to now speak, like read through as they record. I just couldn't do it. I had a full-on panic attack again. I was shaking, I was crying, and everybody clearly wondered what is wrong with this little girl. Everybody was definitely concerned for me. At this point, I started feeling bad, because like, I cannot be breaking down like this in front of people and causing people discomfort, because let me tell you, those things are actually quite uncomfortable for people who do not understand what's wrong with you. And during this period, I also remember that sometimes I could actually not sleep. There are nights where I went with like 1 hour of sleep, because yes, I'll switch off my lights, I'll take a bath, I'll do the whole nighttime routine so that I can put myself in the mood for sleeping. But once I get into the bed, my mind will not shut. It will keep going on and on and on and on and on and on until the mornings. Like I could see the sun rise and I've not slept, and I have work the following day, because remember, my job hasn't ended yet, but it's coming to an end, so I still have to go to work, right? And I used to work a shift from mornings to like 2 o'clock, and I would suffer during that shift, because remember, I've not slept. I'm obviously tired. My brain keeps going. I was actually very mean to people at some point, because like, I am tired and you're trying to talk to me. As I was saying, I became actually a very mean person, because sometimes I'm really tired. I'm coming in as work. You're my friend at work, you expect me to talk to you, like maybe listen to your side of issues, but I just cannot, because I'm also going through my own issues that I do not understand, and I cannot be able to explain to you. You guys, let me tell you, sleep is such an important part of your life, and you can never live without sleep. So if you're not getting sleep, you're going to be miserable. At some point, I started looking into getting medication for sleep. Yeah, it was that bad. I was having bad anxiety, bad insomnia. And I remember I did take some melatonin pills for like 2 months, and then I got off of them, because I decided, no, this can't be my life. So how I solved the anxiety issue to where I am now able to cope is I started eating intentionally. Like, I would make sure that my food is balanced diet. Whatever it is I'm eating, I would make sure it's balanced diet. Remember, I was not earning a lot, but I used to make sure that my food was balanced diet, period. My sleep time, I had to like create a schedule. If I'm sleeping at 10, every day I have to sleep at 10, come what may. Even though I'm not going to fall asleep, I'll just get in the bed, switch off everything, take my shower, and just get in bed and wait for the sleep to come. Also, I had a very intentional friend at the time. She really used to check up on me. I miss her, but the friendship ended. I mean, it's life. But she was really checking up on me. So you definitely need people on your corner. And now, after my job ended, I was jobless for quite some time. These months were very crucial for my life. That is all I can say, because I went through such a huge self-discovery journey. I used to stay at home, right? I do not have a job, but I have rent to pay. my parents kind of supported me, and I started doing a lot of promotional works. You know, when you're in Nairobi, you're lucky enough to get promotions. And now that is when I went through this self-discovery. I started literally noting down things that would trigger me, and noting down things that made me happy. Some of the things that actually made me happy was my hair. Taking care of my hair, like, you know, it's taking a lot of time. So by the time I'm done, I'm definitely going to be tired and I'm going to sleep. That actually saved my life. I also started listening to a lot of podcasts. I started listening to a lot of vlogs on mental health and such kind of stuff. I intentionally started feeding my mind. And I also accepted a lot of things about my life that I used to fight with that were making me actually anxious. You know, sometimes it's either your upbringing or the situations that you're in that are triggering your anxiety. So you really have to sit down and accept that this is who you are, and moving forward you'll just be this. So the faster you accept yourself, the better it is for you and for everyone around you, right? Now here's the thing, sometimes you accept yourself, but the people around you will never accept you. Now that has to be their problem, as long as you've made peace with who you are, because it's really important that you do this for you to move forward, because people will always expect you to do more for them than you can actually do. So you have to accept that sometimes I'm just going to be saying no, and it is what it is. If you feel bad about it, that's your problem. As long as in my spirits I'm okay. And then I discovered incense. Incense changed my life, you guys. So I used to burn incense when I was bathing. Now when you're bathing and you're using the shower, it's hot, so it's going to get steamy, right? And now I would burn incense when I was still bathing. So the steam and the smoke from the incense is what I was breathing in when I was bathing. And this thing really worked for me. Like, the incense that I got used to calm me down so much. It used to calm me down like more than drugs, I'm telling you, for real. I just used to feel so calm, and so immediately after the bath I would be able to sleep. Your incense is everything to me right now. Sometimes incense even helps with my digestive system. I don't know how that works, but incense is my thing. I burn incense like I belong to the Swahili community, honestly. And as of now, guys, I make sure obviously to eat well. I make sure to avoid things that are going to trigger me. I've noticed that some of my triggers include when I think I'm not doing really well in life, though I'm really doing my best. I've learned to accept that, yeah, this is my best, this is all I can do, and just let the future bring itself on, honestly, because there's so much you can do. There's only so much worrying you can do that is going to change your future. Things that were meant to happen will happen, and whatever you're able to do to change it, well and good for you. If something you cannot change, then just accept it, and you'll overcome one day. One day you'll be really calm. Like right now, I'm so calm about so many situations. Like, I could be under so much pressure, but I'm still very calm, because every thought that you're projecting onto me that I know is not my truth, I'm just going to be telling myself, that's not me. I'm not going to say it verbally, obviously. I'm not trying to argue with you here, but in my head I'm telling myself, okay, that's not me, that's not me. I know that is not what I am, and I keep affirming myself, I know that is really not what I am. I know myself. So basically, the best thing you can do for yourself is to know yourself, to identify your triggers, feed your mind and soul, and just take care of yourself generally, honestly, and find things that make you happy, because that is what you'll always run back to get back to yourself when you're going through things. I wish you guys all the best, honestly, and I would like to hear your comments on the anxiety, since this was an anxiety video. And just tell me if you have a question for me on any of these things that I've talked about. I hope to see you guys soon on another episode of Mental Health Awareness. And until then, guys,